Hello everyone, welcome to the first episode of The Life of KG. So I've been thinking about doing a podcast for a very long time now. I want to make it really real and down to earth and just about obviously our industry in general and just putting it all out there really. I wanted to do something quite casual, like I'm literally at the moment recording this in my bedroom. My little girl's in my bed fast asleep. She could possibly wake up at any time. Hopefully she won't. And just really just get down to the nitty gritty of everything and recording things as we feel and as natural as it can possibly be to make it really real. So it's going to be kind of like my diary of business really, and also we will have episodes where we are having guests on, so we'll do interviews as well, and the people that work within KG, sometimes they'll be holding interviews, so it's trying to just kind of like mix it all up really. So I thought I would do the first episode today just really telling you about KG, myself, the company, how we started, and just getting into it so you can really get a feel for who we are. Then once that's done, I don't have to do it again. So you can then hear everyone else's stories. No, I will do it quite brief as possible. Obviously there's loads of different stories within my story. And as the podcasts go on, we can dip into different parts. So we can dip into marketing that's worked, marketing that hasn't, how to run a company with babies, how to have a successful salon and build a good team, how to be a great lash artist, best ways of getting new clients, how other entrepreneurs started their journeys, literally loads and loads of stuff. But for today, I'm going to start with my story. So I find it really difficult sharing where I started and where I come from. So normally when I speak on stage, I talk in third person and only about my childhood. I don't know why. I think I find it just really, I guess, embarrassing. I can find it embarrassing. I'm ashamed of some of it, and just I think it was such a difficult time in my life that I kind of just shy it away and try not to remember. But when I think of doing it in third person and pretending it's about someone else, I find it a lot easier. But I'm actually going to speak as myself today, because I'm not in front of anyone. I'm talking into my phone and I can kind of just be me. So then I can give you the real story about everything. So obviously I had a good childhood upbringing with my mum and dad. They're still together. They're amazing parents and I literally could not live without them. I've got a younger brother as well. He's only a year younger than me. We're completely different, but I love him dearly, and we're just a really, really close family. But when I was in school, so when I hit about 12 years old, when I went into high school, I was severely bullied, like really severe. I don't know to this day why. Well, I kind of do, I kind of don't. So when when people asked about the bullies and asked them what their issue is, they were just like, I don't know. We just don't like her. There was that kind of answers. There wasn't a real issue of why they were so mean to me. But the bullying was so bad that I couldn't hack it anymore. I wanted to end my life. I tried to overdose. I tried to I slit my wrist many times. Whether that was for a cry for help or if that was to actually end my life, I don't know. Now looking at it, I'm like, slitting my wrist that deep wasn't going to get anywhere. But back then it felt awful. So I obviously thought it was going to get me somewhere, but it didn't. But it did give me a massive cry for help. Like my mum obviously saw the cuts on my wrist. She saw paracetamols and stuff under my bed. Like, it was a massive, massive cry for help for me. But I truly did want to end my life. Like, I couldn't hack anymore. I was terrified, like so scared. So all the bullying that happened in school was all verbal. It was all threats. It wasn't physically like punching, hitting, that type of thing. So I would be surrounded in the corridors, like going to class. When I went to the toilet, I'd be surrounded in the cubicles. There would be rumours going around school, such as there would be a rumour that I was pregnant, and most of the school thought I was pregnant. Obviously, this was a complete lie, to the point that even, you have the medical rooms, they called me in and sat me down and asked if there was anything that I needed to tell them, because obviously they've heard that I'm pregnant. And for me, I was like, I'm 12 years old. I have never had a boyfriend, let alone have sex. I am definitely not pregnant. Like, definitely not. So that was obviously really distressing to me, and obviously my family, like, that this horrible rumour was going around. There was other rumours, such as being a lesbian. Not like that's any issue at all for people that are, like, totally loads of respect for you. But at that time, no, I was not a lesbian, and I'm not now. But there was that rumour. Again, that was quite distressing. Then there was stuff like bomb threats. So people used to write to my house and literally say that the house was going to get bombed, or the window's going to get smashed in. There was an event at the carnival. So where I'm from is Luton, and there is a carnival that happens every year. Now that's no big deal, but when we were younger, like, everyone had to go to the carnival. We all used to have to get nice new outfits, and it was a big thing. Like, no one wanted to miss the carnival. But there was, again, rumours and letters being wrote to me that if I attend the carnival, I'm going to get stabbed. And as a 12, maybe I was nearly 13 at this point, year old, I believed these rumours. Like, I really, really believed them. Like, I used to think that the house was going to get done in and I was going to get stabbed. It was just really bad. So it was so bad to the point that my family actually pulled me out of school, because obviously my mental state was not good at all. So they did pull me out of school. I did go from one school to another school, which the other school, which was based in a different location, I actually didn't have any problems there. But because I was still getting bullying from that other school outside, like on weekends, being surrounded in the shopping centre, not being able to socialise, it just weighed me down in every way, shape and form. So I got pulled out of school completely, and I started college slightly earlier than everyone else. So I actually left school with no qualifications at all. I had no GCSEs, no qualifications, nothing. So that was obviously a massive down point to obviously leaving school early, because I had none of that. So to the point where I was like, obviously as I was getting slightly older, what the hell am I going to do? Because at the moment I can't do anything with any grades, like nothing. While I was in school and getting bullied, and obviously after I left school, I started modelling. So I remember I was in London once with my mum. It's kind of that cliche thing, isn't it? You're in London and you get spotted on Oxford Street. But that did actually happen. So I got spotted on Oxford Street, and I'm pretty sure it was Oxford Street. And they asked me if I've been ever interested in modelling before. And obviously I hadn't been. No one, like, well, they might, but I didn't wake up one day and think, oh, I want to be a model. Like, that wasn't how it worked. But I thought, yeah, do you know what? I'd give it a go. And also while I was on holiday that year, like, sometimes there's like photographers and stuff that go around on the resort. Well, they were doing like one-on-one photography sessions, and I just loved it, like absolutely loved it. So I give that a go. And you would think being in front of the camera as someone that's been bullied, has no self-esteem at all, would be really nerve-wracking. And of course it is, but when you're in front of the camera, it really like pushes you, and it gives you this confidence boost, and it lets you just feel like, I can't really describe it, but all your feelings and issues and everything go, and you're just concentrating that you're being in front of the camera and that you're like powerful, basically. Obviously you've got the photographer going, you're gorgeous, like keep going, work it, all that type of thing, and it makes you feel completely like amazing. So as time went on, I decided that modelling was definitely what I wanted to do. Like, I loved it. Obviously the bullies absolutely hated that I'd done it. I guess enough reason why they hated me. But because I was basically a recluse in my house, like I would not leave. I was so scared to leave the house because I thought something might happen. I didn't. So all my social life kind of went out the window. So modelling for me got me out of the house, because I would be going to these photo shoots and they'd be in the cities. So they'd be in London most of the time, Birmingham, Manchester, wherever they would be. So I would physically be able to get out the house, have a good time, and knowing that I was safe, not being anywhere near these bullies. Also, when I was modelling, like a lot of it was contacts. So it was about like obviously who you know and building contacts. And obviously I didn't know anyone back then. I was a 13-year-old kid. I didn't know anything. But to keep me sane, like I used to go into the office at my parents' house, and I used to just work at that computer and try and get contacts, join model agencies, network with photographers. I used to do everything to get my name out there and get as much work as I could, and I absolutely loved it. But this taught me how to network in obviously business life now. So it's given me that head start of what I maybe wouldn't know what to do if I didn't do that back then. To the point where I had so many friends around the whole world of models and photographers from all this networking I used to do. So it really kind of, I'd say, started my own business at that age, at 13, from modelling, because I was selling myself constantly, as in like selling myself to go to castings and win jobs, or there would be catalogue jobs I needed to do, or it might be extra work for TV work, like whatever kind of campaign I was going for, I had to be selected and be up against other girls. So I had to kind of sell myself in front of the casting directors. So I've been doing that for so long, like at such a young age. And it really did just help me and give me something to work towards when I was completely down on the floor from bullying. So it was a complete lifesaver. So after that part, I carried on kind of modelling, and I would say, how old was I? I was 18. I don't know why I had to think about that, because it's a massive milestone for me. But I was 18 years old and I decided to open up a model agency. My reasons for this were I was getting so many of my agents asking me, do you know a model for this job? Do you know a model for that job? Because obviously I knew so many people in the industry. So I was always getting the agents, girls to work for them. And I thought, why don't I do this? Like, I'd love to do this. And it's like any job. Sometimes you can get a little bit bored of it after a while, or you need something more exciting. So I was kind of like, not getting bored of modelling, but I definitely was looking for my next fix. So starting my own model agency was definitely key for me. And I remember like running to my mum's room being like, what should I call my model agency? And I had all these like different names and I was so excited. And she was like, why don't you just call it KG Model Management? Like, just keep it simple, KG. And that's how KG was born. Like, how amazing is that? Like, just from that one conversation, how did I know that was going to build then a whole brand? So, like, that's just crazy. Like, so crazy when I even think about that. And just registering the company as a limited company back then was like such a big scary deal, that I had my own limited company at 18 years old. Like, okay, now this is proper, I need to do this. Like, I really need to do this. So I obviously worked from my parents' home, where obviously I was living. They had an office, and I used to just lock myself away in there, like I did when I was trying to get castings and jobs for modelling. But instead of getting jobs for myself, I was then now trying to get companies on board to get jobs for my models. So I'd have models on my books, and we had about a couple of hundred models on the books across the country, and we had some people abroad, because we did have jobs coming in from abroad too. And I managed to sell these contracts, like, and it was amazing, and I used to have this such big buzz, and I just loved it, like absolutely loved it. And so that was when I was 18, and then I wanted to, obviously, yeah, we all have goals, and I wanted to have a base for my agency. Obviously, I was super young, and even though the model agency was doing really great, it weren't like a super £1 million company or anything like that. So to have a base, obviously you have overheads, and to pay them overheads, you need to be having a really successful company. Like, otherwise you might as well just carry on working from home. But I wanted my models to come to me so I could do portfolio work and measure them and meet them properly, rather than just doing all over the internet. So I needed a base for that. So as like a little dream that I had while I was modelling, I always said, oh, one day I would love my own tanning shop. And I had this goal in my head for it to happen for when I was about 30. I don't know why, but like, yeah, when I was 30, I want my own tanning shop. That was kind of what I used to say. I guess because I just love tanning. And I thought, why don't I just do that now? And I think my parents at the time thought I was crazy. My dad wasn't too sure, like, whether to take me seriously. And if to, I guess, go ahead with it, he's not so much of a risk taker of what I am. Whereas my mum was like, okay, like, well up for me doing this, but also scared at the same time. But she would never ever say, like, no, don't do it. She'll support me like 1,000,000%. So with my dad, but obviously he'd be more scared about the risks, whereas my mum wouldn't. She'd be like, hell yeah, just do it. So I had to find a base. So it was so exciting, and I knew exactly what building I wanted. And there was a building that we went to a few years ago, previously to this conversation I had about them opening a building, and it was an estate agents, and it was Indigo Estate Agents. And I remember walking in there, I think someone I was with was looking for a house or something. Walking in there and just being like, oh my God, I love this building. Like, it was just beautiful. So anyway, when I was looking for a building, this building so happened to be up for rent. And I remember saying to my family, oh my God, that's up for rent. They were like, oh, it's way too much money, like way too much. Wouldn't even really consider it. Obviously, if someone tells me no, I am going to do it. So I remember calling up Indigo Estate Agents and asking them for a viewing. So I went to this viewing, and I think he must have looked at me like, this girl's a kid, like, what is she doing? Like, they could see obviously that I had drive, but they must have thought, oh my God, like, bless her, she wants a tanning shop and all this. I looked at it and I fell in love with it, and I literally was like, I need to have this building, like, I need to have it. I arranged a second viewing with my mum. I think my dad came. I know my mum was there, and showed her, and obviously she supported me, and I got that building. So it needed loads and loads of work doing to it, but we managed to turn it around in a month. And my dad done all the building work for it. He does the building work for everything. He's literally amazing. And we turned the building into, at the beginning of the building when you walk in, it was a tanning shop, and we actually trained in nails so we could do nails. And then in the back of the building was my office, which was my model agency, and a photographic studio. So I literally had my whole dream in one building. It was like amazing. I was so excited. So we opened the doors to this salon / model agency. Obviously the model agency was going anyway, so that had an income coming in. But the salon, obviously no one knew who he was. So I opened about 20 minutes away from where my house was, but this 20 minutes was based in a village location, which I had nothing. I just didn't know anyone. Like, no one knew who I was. I didn't know who they was. No one knew who KG was. It was completely from scratch. Not even one client. I kind of studied beauty in college, but I was a dropout, just like everything. I was a dropout of college, so I didn't really have any qualifications to go with that either. So the nails course that I'd done was like a 1 day's nail course, and we just done tanning and nails. So I had to build a whole client base, which was hard. Like, I'll come to that. That was hard. But over time, we had people coming in asking for waxing, tinting, pedicures, massaging, that type of thing. And I was turning these people away. Don't get me wrong, there wasn't like hundreds of people like queuing outside asking for these treatments. But when the phone did go, or when a client did walk in, which was rare because we had no client base, they were asking for these treatments. So I was turning them away. Or if they were getting their nails done, they were then going elsewhere to have their other treatments done. And I was like, I'm missing something here. Like, what am I going to do? I'm turning these clients away. There's obviously a call for these treatments. So I had to make a really, really big decision and close the model agency, which was at the time then so distressing. I was so upset, but I was like, I have to turn the back of the salon into treatment rooms because we didn't have no treatment rooms. It was an open space. So how am I meant to grow the salon without having treatment rooms? I'd have to move, and I can't do that because I have a 5-year lease. So okay, my little girl's waking up. Isn't that great? So I had to shut down the model agency and turn it into treatment rooms. Obviously, now this was the best thing I could have possibly ever have done. If I didn't do that, I don't know where I'd be now, and I would have been pretty stupid. But making that decision then, I felt like I failed in my model agency. I felt like giving that business up, like I completely failed. I was a failure and it didn't work out. Well, actually, that wasn't the case at all. That model agency brought me to that point. Like, it gave me the drive and ambition to be able to open that. And without having that agency, the salon would have never existed. So I'm so grateful for that agency, and we actually still, that company is still going, and we trade under that because I just couldn't even shut the company name down. So we actually still run under KG Model Management and trade as KG Salon, which is like amazing. So I'll always keep that. So obviously from this point we turned the salon into a full-blown salon, and so we built the treatment rooms. We had actually one treatment room that we built, and from then we needed to have employees because I wasn't trained to do any treatments other than nails. So I hired my first employee, which was Chloe Hull. Chloe still works for me to this day, 10 years later. She is one of the best beauticians I've ever met. She has gone from my employee to one of my best friends. She's one of my closest friends. How could she not, after 10 years of working so closely together? Obviously, it was just me and her in the beginning, just me and her day in, day out. We've cried together, we've laughed together, we've partied together, we've gone on holiday together. We've literally done everything, and she knows my deepest, darkest thoughts and downtimes I've had, and she's literally been my rock, my complete rock for the whole 10 years, and I will be forever grateful to her for that. Like, forever grateful. She'll never know how grateful I am for her loyalty and kindness, and just continuing to work with KG and be part of that. And I know that she looks at the salon as her own, and she looks after it as her own, and that means the world, and I will forever look after Chloe for them reasons. Like, she's basically a sister to me. So me and Chloe obviously worked in the salon together, and we had like no clients still. Even though clients asked for these treatments, we still had no clients. Obviously we had some, but it took so much building. So one major part of the story that I missed out is to obviously financially be able to start a salon in the first place, I needed a lot of money. So I was up to my eyes in debt to be able to start the salon. Completely up to debt, about £60,000 maybe. That I give myself 5 years to pay off. That was my ultimate goal. Like, so in 5 years' time, after starting the salon, I will be financially free, as in, maybe not financially free as in I'll have all the money in the world, but I'll be debt free. So that's kind of what my end goal was. And in this 5 years, I obviously worked to pay off my debt, and I wasn't being paid myself. Obviously, I had now staff bills to pay. I had my rent, stock, training, everything to pay, including my loans, that I had nothing for myself because there wasn't a big enough client base. There were times where I cried my eyes out. Actually, not times, there was literally most days I would cry my eyes out because we would get clients in, but I wasn't seeing the money, like, because the outgoings were so high. And there's only a certain amount of time you can put all your love and passion into something, and when you're not seeing nothing at the end of it, or you're just scraping to pay the bills, or sometimes not meeting to pay the bills, the stress that causes. Bear in mind, at this time I'm 19 years old, so I'm still a pup, like, I'm still young, and the stress was just so much. Like, I used to call my parents crying that I just wanted to go bankrupt, like, I couldn't take it anymore. It was the easy option for me to go bankrupt, like, and then just clear my debt and just go and get a normal job. Like, I just didn't know what else to do. I would read and read and read. So I am dyslexic, so when I do read, it takes me a while, but I would do it, and I would read all the business books I could. I've just started listening to podcasts now, but now anyone that's listening to this and in this position, definitely get yourself on podcasts. But reading gave me everything, like all the knowledge I know. I went on more training courses for beauty courses, so then I could do more treatments in salon, and I was just advertising and marketing left, right and centre, and really studying social media to see how I could grow that, because 10 years ago that was all pretty kind of new. Like, you would still be marketing in newspapers really, and advertising in newspapers, so the social media scene was quite fresh for businesses, so I was kind of dipping into that area to see where we could grow. But it was hard. Like, my dad used to give me £40 a week to be able to just grab some lunch and survive a little bit, because I had nothing. Like, obviously, luckily, I was living at my parents' house then, so I didn't have to worry about rent and a mortgage and things like that. But to have nothing to my name, when before then, obviously, I was modelling, so I had quite a bit of money, and the jobs I used to get, obviously it was I was financially okay for like 18-19-year-old back then. But when all of that's gone and you have nothing and you've got all this debt, the pressure is just crazy, like crazy. I would say it took a good 3-4 years for me to even take a small salary. And by this time, I even then had slightly more staff. So every time someone got fully booked, I would then hire someone else. And I would do it very gradually. And they would start off on part-time hours and gradually build to full-time. Sorry, my little girl has woken up. Here you go. This is what happens when you record podcasts at home in bed at night. So yeah, we just gradually built the staff, which I actually hate that word. Like, they are staff, yeah, they're employees, but they're my team and they're my girls, and without them we wouldn't have a growing salon. So I prefer the word team. You won't really hear me say the word staff. So over time we built that, and in the 5 years I did get debt free. So I did clear all of my debts and I was debt free, and it was the best feeling ever. But obviously, as business is, as all you people listening that are in business, there's always one hurdle after another. So when we nearly come out of debt, we then end up going VAT registered, so then the business takes a hit, or you have staff leaving, which then takes a hit, or your rent goes up, so it takes another hit, or your business rates come in, so that takes a hit. So it's always a constant battle. So even though we hit that 5 year mark and think, yeah, I'm debt free, like life's going to be great, all that money that I was paying on 60 grand debt is now going to go to me. But it doesn't work like that, because there's always something else that you're then working for. So yeah, it's a constant battle. So I'm going to just kind of fast forward a little bit, otherwise I'm going to be talking for hours. Like, I'm only on like the 3rd year, I'm now 10 years in. So obviously the salon grew to be a success over a very, very, very long period of time. So for those of you that have just started, it takes a long time. So just like hang in there, carry on doing your marketing, do social media, don't give up, be dedicated, and it will pay off. It just takes a long time. So over these now 10 years, I'm just going to fast forward, otherwise, like I said, you're going to be here for ages. After these 10 years, we have gone on to win over 14 awards so far. I've been published like 35 times, I think it is, and obviously I write for a few magazines now as well, so that number's going up all the time, which is amazing. And I'm so blessed to be in this position and that I didn't give up. I'm so glad I did not go bankrupt. Like, I wouldn't have any of this now, and it just proves it. If you're dedicated and you don't give up and you have them sleepless nights and them early morning rises, it is all worth it and it does pay off. I just can't stress that enough. And education is key. Like, yeah, I dropped out. I had no qualifications. I don't know business studies. I don't nothing. But I read and read and read, and I studied and studied and studied as much as I could at home myself, and it paid off. So please just bear that in mind. So obviously the salon's super successful now. I have an amazing team of girls, and we have just gone into franchising. So franchising's another story I can go into another time on one of our episodes, like the downtimes and a disaster we've had and things like that. But for now, obviously, we've got 4 branches now. So we've got our Barton branch, Luton, Wokingham and Essex, and they've been super success and they're stunning salons. I'm so proud. And we've got our training academy. So we've got our training academy and product range, which started in 2012. So again, a long time ago now. And our product range, again, I'm so proud of. Like, as soon as we launched it, it ended up hitting like 500 salons within 6 months. So it was super successful, and we are growing and distributing to new customers every single day and new salons every day, and it's literally around the world. So it's actually crazy when like someone tags us in America and they're using our products. Like, it's so good. Like, they're using KG professional products in their salon in America or in Dubai and in Cyprus, like so many different places. It's just crazy. Again, I'm so grateful for that. But we source these products high and low to be able to source the best products that we felt was possible for our industry. So every single product we have is trialed and tested by me, and I definitely 100% feel that it is the best for me in the industry. So that's why I then want to give it to our salons and our customers and our students to be able to use. So I'm really, really passionate about that. Again, that's more stories about that I can tell you in other episodes. A little bit about my personal life, because I think that's really good to know. I suffer with anxiety really bad, and that stems from, I think, bullying, but mainly as an adult it suffers from business and business stress. And I think if you don't have anxiety when you own a business, then you are doing pretty well. Like most business owners I've spoken to suffer with anxiety too. So we can go through ways of dealing with anxiety and stuff like that in other episodes. So I do suffer with that. I am a normal human being, and I have my down days some days where people won't hear from me for a couple of days because I'm having an attack. Like, that is real and that happens. And actually, maybe as we're being so real on here, maybe when I am having them down days, it's good to just jump on here and talk, because talking always helps anxiety. Also, as you've heard through this podcast, my little monkey, she, Lola Rose, that's my daughter, she's 3 years old, and I have been a single mum since I was 10 weeks pregnant. So again, that is another long story, but I have built this whole company, obviously before she come along, but while I was pregnant, it grew massively, and since I've had her, it's again grew massively, because I've worked my company around our lives, and she's very much part of the businesses. So to you mums out there that want to grow your companies or start companies, or want to get into obviously this new career of lashing or being a beauty therapist or whatever it is possible if you have children or if you're a single mum. And I can't stand it when people blame their career or not having a career on a child, because there is no excuse. Like, I am on my own, and I have managed to grow a couple more companies since having Lola. So it is possible, and don't get me wrong, it is hard. 10 weeks pregnant, being a single mum and going through the whole of pregnancy on my own, and then obviously giving birth to this beautiful baby on my own, and having sleepless nights on my own, and doing bottle feeding in the night on my own, and running a business on my own. It was hard. But we've done it, and you just learn to deal with it. And again, I can share different ways of doing that, but it is doable. Obviously, in business, there's been tons of highs and lows, which I can go by, things that have nearly broken me, which I guess triggers my anxiety hugely. But other than that, that's me really. And I'm single as well. I'm very, very much single, and it's a bit of a laughing joke between obviously my salons and people I know, because my dating life really sucks, and hopefully one day I will meet my Prince Charming, but at the moment it's really not the right time. I'm clearly not meeting him yet. So we'll have a bit of laugh and banter about dating and stuff when we do these podcasts too. So that's about me, and I will put up on our social media what next episodes are about and what we're going to be showing and who we're going to be interviewing, and it's going to be really fun. And just check in and have a listen. I always listen to podcasts on my drive to work, or if I'm travelling, or before bed when I'm trying to go to sleep, and it always just really helps me mentally. So those of you that are business owners, hopefully this will really help. So leave your comments in the comment box. I'll be so grateful for that, and to hear your views, and also just share on social media just to spread the word that we have a UK podcast in beauty and business, which I think is possibly the first one, which is so exciting. So that was just a really, really quick episode about me, just so you know who the hell is talking to you and who's giving you all this advice. It's me, Katie Godfrey. So thanks for listening and tuning in, and I will speak to you guys soon.